Hey guys, Udub Ultra here. Welcome back to the channel. Bringing you a new video of a walkthrough through my monitor settings here for my LG 45-inch ultra-wide OLED. Now this is the LG45GR95QE. I've done a settings video already, again showing what has been kind of for a while was my long time running settings, but in the spirit of continuing this updated series of videos, this is an update to be able to show what are my settings for what will be my future POV video gaming videos just for the foreseeable future. Now, if you're new to the channel, I want to note a few things. First, I make POV gaming videos specifically really focused on these ultra-wide displays. So I do these settings videos to provide a link basically within each of my gameplay videos so you have an understanding of how I have things set up currently. Now, it is worth noting that I do this all to preference, right? This isn't really based on any, I do go look and seek out, whether it be through Reddit or other forums, setting suggestions, but ultimately this is just based on preference and also things I've found. So that is where these settings videos can be useful, even when you're watching those POV videos, just to understand what my settings are. Now, with that said, doing this update because I have adjusted two things from my last walkthrough, but again, I'll be going through everything entirely. Now, first off, I want to bring this up. Now, this is my settings menu here on Windows. Now, I'm bringing this up because, again, everything I do is with HDR on. Even when I'm doing desktop usage, I leave HDR on. So that is kind of the preface how I have all these settings set up in the first place. So first and foremost, as I'm showing here, right, HDR is on. That's important because as we're going through this, right, a lot of settings here in the monitor menu are blacked out. You can't make adjustments, but I'll walk through details of that when I move it over into SDR, because when you do turn HDR off, you actually now can adjust those settings. But first off here, what I have changed first and foremost is Gamer 1. So I am using Gamer 1 now as opposed to Gamer 2. Everything else, if you have watched that original series of videos, is the same. So again, brightness still at 100, sharpness at 60. Everything here, right, still running with HDMI settings. And all this other stuff is just, really just based around the background lighting, things like that. So biggest item, let me finish going down this list here real quick. But yeah, biggest item is switching to Gamer 1. Now, I'm going to do this and real quick. Let me turn HDR off. All right, come back to the menu. Now, bringing the menu back up, because again, it is the most important thing to note about this monitor is all the settings that were blacked out that I can now adjust, right, because I turned HDR off. I can adjust here. These get carried over to your HDR picture, right? So you adjust them here, but then when you turn HDR back on, these settings still carry over, even though you can't adjust them anymore. I would encourage you to test this out yourself, right? For example, I have black stabilizer set to 70. That's still the same setting as the first video. But for example, if you adjusted that and then turned HDR back on, you'll notice your HDR picture looks different. So please just note that. Like I said, it is worth experimenting with. And like I said, all of my settings are to preference. But all right, brightness 100, contrast 100, sharpness still at 60. Now for gamma, I'm still using mode 2, so I have not changed this. And still color temp is set to warm. Now, 6 color, I haven't made any adjustments there, and then more specifically, black level, I still have set to high. Now, let me go back and just turn HDR back on. All right, so HDR is back on here, even for desktop. Now, I mentioned two things I adjusted from my first video. So again, that first thing was in the monitor settings, switching back over to Gamer 1. Now, again, my personal preference is that I'd like a punchier, more colorful picture. So to compensate, because again, having used Gamer 2 first, that did bring out a little bit more saturation, which a little bit too much. And again, switching back to Gamer 1, I can see that I am enjoying the warmer tone of the monitor. But still, because I did want to bring out that vibrance, I switched digital vibrance and turned it up from 50, which is default, to 55%. So just 5% increase, again, especially from that first video. So those are really the only two things that I've adjusted. Now, it still is worth noting, again, especially if you didn't watch the first video, that come back here, that I have Windows 11. So using Windows 11, I use the Windows 11 calibration tool. Now in that particular case, I did just follow the on-screen instructions for that. It's 4 settings menus, very similar to, for example, if you've done console gaming, where you just adjust the brightness and such until the black square disappears or the white square disappears. So I went ahead and did that with Windows 11 calibration. The one menu worth mentioning though in that is the very last one, which lets you set saturation. I had that set to 60. So again, that's not different from my first video. That is what I had back then. So yeah, like I said, enjoying these settings. I'm definitely going to be, excited to, do these videos and show off again how it looks overall. Now it is worth noting that I also went ahead and did order a LG service remote, so I probably will be having another updated video coming in the next probably week or 2 weeks or so when I go through those adjustments and figure out what I like. The reason I did that is because I do actually want to play with some of the brightness settings and just to see if I can get the picture brighter overall, just because at this point there's a lot of information available, especially if you're looking online for that. So when that comes in, and should I even make any of those changes, I will be doing another update video. But with that, enjoying Gamer One so far, enjoying just these settings, and so it'll be fun to do videos here. Now with that, let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions at all, especially if you have any questions about any of my settings or other things that you're curious about, or if you have recommendations, especially for the service remote when that comes in. And yeah, appreciate y'all for your support. Please don't forget that like button and subscribe, and also don't forget to go ahead and check out all my gaming videos that these settings are for. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.